Hello everyone, and welcome to Dutch Greybeard. In this video, I want to introduce you to William Horwood's amazing series, The Hyddenworld Saga. These 4 books are hidden gems within the fantasy genre that have been all but forgotten by now. Unjustly so. But first, let me introduce you to William Horwood. He is the writer who introduced me to the magical power of books when I was 16 years old. Up until that time, I had mainly been reading and rereading the same batch of children's and young adult books I owned. For school, I had already ventured somewhat into adult literature, but the great spark had not ignited yet. That changed when I read the Dutch translation of Hyddenworld, his debut novel. I remember staying up all night when I still lived with my parents because I couldn't put this book down. The story about moles who experience hardship and profound lessons opened the doors that led me into that vast world of unprecedented wealth, exposed by nothing more than letters and words. After his debut, Hyddenworld, from 1980, Horwood published 3 novels. The Stoner Eagles in 1982, which is a hybrid between fantasy and literature, the novella Callanish in 1984, and Scalagrig in 1987. To me, this last title is Horwood's absolute masterpiece. It holds the #1 spot on my list of favorite books of all time. Then the author returned to Moldham with no less than 5 new Duncton books. Duncton Quest in 1988, Duncton Found 1990, Duncton Tales 1991, Duncton Rising 1992, and the closing of the series Duncton Stone in 1993. As a tribute to the classical Wind in the Willows by Kenneth Grahame, Horwood published a total of 4 adaptation novels. Around that same period, he published the duology, The Wolves of Time, which originally was supposed to be a trilogy. From his debut in 1980 until 1999, Horwood had been publishing non-stop, resulting in 18 books. Then there was a silence of 5 years, until his next book, the autobiography The Boy with No Shoes, which was published in 2004. Next, he tried his hand at mystery in City of Dark Hearts from 2007, which he co-wrote with Helen Rappaport. It was published under the author name James Conan. Their second mystery novel, The Coburg Conspiracy from 2008, unfortunately never got published. Then, after 15 years, he returned to fantasy with the 4 novels in the Hyddenworld Saga, which were published between 2010 and 2013. On his website, Horwood has stated that at this moment he's working on a new trilogy, non-fantasy but COVID-related. But for this video, I want to close in on the Hyddenworld quadrilogy. Because I want to keep this video free of spoilers, I will only touch upon the basics of this story. Also, I will not summarize each installment in this series, but I will randomly browse through them. Here we go. In the 6th century, Beornamund, a craftsman with exceptional skill, crafted 4 gems. Each one is bound with one of the seasons. The craftsman also forged a golden pendant in which the 4 stones were set. Through the ages, the powerful stones vanished, which caused unbalance to the earth. The longer they remain lost, the greater the unbalance and chaos in the world. Only the recovery of the 4 lost gems and resetting them in the pendant can prevent the end of the world. The world is inhabited not only by humans, but also by hidden. Habits and sizes are different in both societies, even though their inhabitants seem to be coming from the same origin. Humans are not aware of the parallel world of the hidden, mainly because humans are conditioned to not see the magical, or even the simply strange. In addition, the hidden are good at keeping out of sight. They ride beneath our trains, live beneath our cities, and traverse our sewers and roads. There is one human, however, who believes in the world of the hidden. He has also found a way to travel between the human world and the hidden world through invisible borders near or in the middle of henges. Professor in seismology Arthur Fowle has long believed that the myths and legends of past times have a root in reality. He knows that whatever is taking place in the world of the hidden has ramifications for the human world as well. Unfortunately, his academic credibility is damaged by his beliefs, and he is relegated to the sidelines of scholarship. Broome, the centre of the free hidden world, lies below Birmingham, in the country that the hidden call Englerland. Broome is under threat by the brutal and Germanic force named the Feared, led by Slake Sinistral. A prophecy amongst the hidden, particularly in their chief city of Broome, tells that a so-called giant born will liberate the people. In order to do this, he must find a series of legendary gems that are supposed to be set in the golden pendant. The so-called Shield Maiden also plays an important role in this prophecy. She is supposed to guide the leading actors in their search and retrieval of the 4 gems of the seasons. According to the prophecy, the Shield Maiden owns the pendant. It is very rare, but occasionally a hidden is born of exceptional size. These so-called giant-borns are not accepted in hidden society. Jack, who is giant-born, is smuggled by his relatives to Englerland, where he is being transferred to the human society. After he is taken on their size and learned their habits, he lives like a human. One day, Jack witnesses a horrible car accident. As he manages to save the girl from the burning car wreck, he gets badly burned. Her father perishes in the fire. Catherine and Jack are to play a pivotal role in this saga that ensues in these 4 books. After her mother has passed away, Catherine is taken in by Arthur Fowle and his wife. After the disappearance of Arthur, the story picks up speed and events unfold in a fast pace. Catherine is being abducted by the Feared, and she is followed by Jack. Their quest to save both worlds of destruction is one of the most epic I have ever come across in all of fantasy. The narration, which is filled with mystery and destiny, is strongly character-driven. One of the characters that stood out for me is the hidden Bedouin Stort, scrivener, scholar, and seer. He becomes the guide of the party that searches for the first gem, Spring. He somehow knows exactly when to be present in a certain place at a certain time, not by intellect, but by sensing that he is needed for who knows what. As Bedouin himself says it, you don't have to understand to do it. Understanding doesn't help at all. It merely gets in the way. Not everything in the world of the hidden is explained, and readers are left with plenty of questions. At the end of the first book, something important takes place on the border between the 2 worlds, which of course is the upbeat towards the second book, Awakening. In this second novel, Bedouin Stort travels with some of his companions between Broome, the hidden dwellings below Birmingham, where freedom is regarded a precious value, and Bochum in Germany, where the empire rules and hidden are suppressed with firm hand by the Feared. The gem of Spring has been stolen from Broome, and Bedouin and his gang go on this quest to take it back. The story is complex, with many plot lines and characters. Horwood's language is rich, emotional, and his messages are wise and beautiful. In the prologue of the third book, Harvest, the Mirror of All is mentioned, something mythical that most of the hidden believe in religiously. There are surely very few gatherings at harvest time that do not give thanks to the Mirror of All, in which hidden live their lives as reflections, living, moving, loving, dying, as if they are real, but knowing in truth that life itself is as insubstantial as a passing mist. The heroes in our story are trying their best to prevent the world from going under. This will happen at the moment the mirror of all starts to crack. One of the characters, who most probably is the Shield Maiden, ages much faster than a normal person. One day in the normal world means one whole season for her, so in 4 days she really ages 1 year. She and Bedwin Stort fall in love. Like all the best loves in literature, it cannot be, because they live in different dimensions. However, Bedwin is not willing to abide by that. Every book in this series contains many unique storylines and events. Many of those will contain spoilers, so I have to limit myself to just a handful. One of the most beautiful sequences of Harvest is about the leader of the Feared, Slake Sinistral. He has been emperor for a very long time and has gradually retreated in one of the deepest chambers in Bochum to surrender willingly and fully to the Musica Universalis that can be heard there. A combination of falling water and drafts, which sometimes whispered and occasionally raged, produced a miracle of sound. For years he remains there in some kind of trance. The empire he built from the base of a ruined business became to him no more than a pastime. His real work lay in learning how to meld his spirit and body, his mind and soul with the musica, and through that with the universe. Slake Sinistral has lost faith in the empire. Like an Eastern mystic or one who has dwelt in the desert and seen the truth, Sinistral had seen the truth of things. All is illusion. All is but a reflection, which for the hidden is made in that infinitesimally thin mirror of all, that fragile, shifting plane, on whose near non-existent surface all things seem to be, yet nothing is at all. Slake Sinistral finds a new kind of peace. He had finally learned the lesson that eternal beauty is not found by clinging to a false, eternal mortal life, but in the graceful acceptance of inevitable death without fear and in a spirit of compassion for self and all others. Reading the final book in the Hyddenworld quadrilogy, Winter, was one of those profound and rare exceptional experiences, not only because of the many and complex storylines that run through these 4 books, or the ingenious way they intertwine and connect. It is mainly the surrealistic atmosphere and the finale of this book, which is impossible to retell in a video. How, for instance, do I explain what weird truly means? It is this unnameable and unexplainable urge several characters experience every now and then to do something, like the strong sense that they simply have to be somewhere at a certain time without knowing why. It is the course that events have to take. Or how can I truly capture the greatness of Musica Universalis? The first chapter of Winter describes how Bedwin Stort understood that since all things of earth and universe are vivified by a common energy or harmony, which wise folk call Musica Universalis, everything, however incidental it might seem, has a bearing on the whole. So it is the energy and the harmony between the earth and the universe. Yes, but it's much more than that. And that's just it. That more, which the reader builds up in numerous flashes like a single word, or a look from one of the characters, or a description by the narrator. It is that more that gives weird, or Musica Universalis, that weight of deeper meaning and understanding that cannot possibly be explained. Or what about the mirror of all? Somewhere this mysterious artifact is defined as in whose vast universal reflection we live our lives, as smaller parts of the whole, which is to say, as reflections which come and go. Such a definition is utterly unsatisfactory for one who has read the 4 books, where the concept of the mirror of all is gradually revealed piece by piece. This grasping in vain to convey the beauty and wisdom of this monumental series is nicely illustrated in a scene where Bedwin tells Jack and Catherine that the gem of winter will surely be found. It is simply a matter of replacing one reflection with another. "Meaning?" said the ever-persistent Jack. "Yes, meaning?" challenged Catherine. "I have no idea," said Stord, exasperated. "You always want specifics, and they rarely exist until they're really needed." The inexplicable violence of nature already became apparent in harvest, and in winter it is getting worse. Also, time is becoming increasingly unreliable. Hidden and humans lose whole hours that simply seem not to have taken place. The end of days is approaching rapidly. These anomalies occur in the human world as well, where chaos and anarchy rule. The paths of hidden and humans cross one another occasionally, something that hasn't happened for ages. In the conclusion, storylines come together and we learn who Bedwin Stord truly is and where he comes from. Every storyline resonates in this grand symphonic finale. It is nothing less than a crying shame that these books are out of print a mere 10 years after their publication. They deserve better. In the Hyddenworld Saga, William Horwood has created a world in which nothing is what it seems, but where everything has meaning, and in which nobody doubts all that exists between heaven and earth. Like in his other novels, these 4 books explore the big theme of how the value of our life lies in the acceptance of who we are. As mentioned, I didn't get into many of the storylines and characters. Otherwise, I would have entered spoiler territory and this video would have been much longer. The number of characters who are miraculously connected to each other in terms of blood and of destiny, and the amount of intertwining storylines make this series so extraordinary. The stories moved me emotionally, and in many characters of mythical proportions, I recognized the presence of deep wisdom. The few wood splinters I have offered in this video don't do justice to the majesty of the tree that is formed by these 4 books. All I can say is, read the series and be amazed by the tenderness and honesty of the main characters, by the wisdom of the author, and by the beauty of his language. Thank you very much for watching this video. Until we meet again at Dutch Greybeard.